Hey, everyone. This is Jay from the Let's Get Loud podcast. It's because sometimes, so right now we're recording in Alicia's office and where I'm not used to her microphone, her computer, and my computer says recording.
Your
has
computer
started.
is so polite.
It's like telling me we have restarted the recording. Hi, everyone. Hi, Leash.
Hi, I want to have a moment to just say how much I love our new podcast photos. Like, I feel like I haven't had a chance to really acknowledge how amazing they look.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Your vision came to life.
It did. I love it so much.
You must be so happy.
I am so happy.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, everyone. So I hope that you guys are doing good, happy. I don't even know if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Is it March? Is it April?
I don't
February?
know. We're trying to get ahead here. And because Alicia and I are leaving on vacation, clearly this is coming out after we're back.
Okay.
I would say so.
I
don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no clue. Hi, everyone. Okay, so we were just chatting a little bit about, because this is what we do. We like sit there and we're like, okay, looking into our language, looking into our beliefs and how things are going and kind of how we're showing up. Anyways, we were talking about dieting and we were talking about weight loss. We were talking about how people do it differently, doing it your way, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, came down to the conversation of, I said this at a meeting a couple weeks ago, and it was like that dieting is a feeling and that it's not linked to any certain
physical attribute.
Yeah. So no physical look or even like a certain way of living.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You see what I mean? Like,
yes.
And so of course we all have our own idea of what dieting would look like for us. Like if I needed to do this, this, and this, and this, I'd be feeling like I'm on a diet. But for someone else, that could not feel that way.
Yes. I see what you're saying. This is important. And you know what, you guys, we are always working at changing our language and making sure it's as inclusive as possible. Mm-hmm. And it's so important, the words that we use to describe things. You guys know that about us. Language is so important. And so, you know, we need to identify what it means to be on a diet. And after having this conversation, like Jose said, it's not a look.
No.
So it doesn't, if you have abs, you're on a diet. It's not an action. Oh, if you
go to the gym 3 hours a day,
you're
on a diet.
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. And so for us, what's so important is that people know that they can lose weight without that feeling.
Oh my gosh, this is so good.
You see what I mean?
This is so good.
Yeah.
And what's so important is that we acknowledge that what everyone feels is diety
is different. So I think our mission is to make sure that people can realize that weight loss is accessible to them without dieting. But then that like kind of like, what does that mean? Like, what does dieting look like? And it's like without the rules, but you need to still have your own, like to lose weight, you have to intentionally lose weight. You have to have standards and values and rules, but they're your rules because they're the rules of not dieting. So
it's like your own system.
I like that.
It's a system.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you've created a little system behind the scenes that works for you. Now, your system can be a diet, or your system can be something that aligns with your values and your environment and your resources, and that doesn't feel like a diet.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, okay, I see you choosing to not eat the poutine and eat something else. I see you doing that and I'm proud of you because you're like so proud of yourself. But I'm like, but how did that make you feel? I understand that action, maybe you consumed less, you ended up losing weight, and now your goal is weight loss, but it's a weight loss without the feeling of dieting. And here's another topic here, Leash, is often when we're in a room and everyone's making a choice and you're making a different choice, people will say like, oh, she's dieting because she's not eating like we're eating.
I just had that same thought. So I'm thinking back to like staff room days.
Yeah, staff room.
There's a piece of cake. You don't want the cake. People just assume you're saying no to the cake because your diet says you can't have the cake.
Yeah.
No one has even ever considered that maybe you're not hungry.
Yeah.
You don't want cake, that it doesn't align with your values.
Yeah.
It's like if you go against the grain of the norm, that it must be because you're on a diet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a good realization.
Well, because as I was saying it, I feel like it is so important that we verbalize more, that society, women in general, when we are trying to lose weight, that we really like advocate for not feeling like we're on a diet. So like when we show up with, even within our membership, and we, I go live and I'll check in once in a while, like, do you feel like you're on a diet? It's all good that you're losing weight and you're feeling successful. But for me, is the success means nothing if you're feeling like you're on a diet. And so making sure that, first of all, you're really advocating for yourself, because you're the one that needs to check in quite often. Like, why am I doing this? Is this really what I want to be doing? And then what's annoying about this whole thing of losing weight is because you're never alone. So society's always like there reminding you that you might be doing something different. And this all comes back to like, in that podcast where we talked about not doing the average decision, like, you know what I mean?
And instead of us just like, again, like if we stop chasing thinness and just start chasing authenticity, and accept whatever body that we end up in.
Say solo.
And I truly believe that if people want weight loss for themselves, and they chase it through authenticity, they will lose weight. Will they end up in a size 6? I don't know. But I really truly believe that if people that want to exist in a smaller body chase that through authentic change, they will create that for themselves. But sometimes what happens for people is it's not enough.
So thinner and thinner and
thinner and
it's
thinner
the
and
thinner brings you on a diet. Now we've attached definitely some actions that are more diety, because the norm, like at the end of the day, to get to that point, most people do not, like, I don't know if it was on a podcast or a conversation, but you had said like, we have access to, like, most people don't want to do that.
No.
Or don't live within those means. Like, that's not how they choose. That's not how they think, like with our culture, within our culture and where we're from.
Honestly, in North America, the average person is not choosing to move their body. The average person is not listening to hunger cues when it comes to choosing how much they eat. On average, most North Americans are not choosing a plant-based diet.
And like, it's just, and with that being said, it would mean that these actions would make them feel like they're on a diet.
Exactly.
So that's why our message, because that is the majority, that is very common, our message hits that group of people, that like, you don't have to do that if you want to lose weight, and then like it creates that conversation, because I think through the conversation of us saying you don't have to do these things to lose weight, it opens up possibilities and like a different perception of weight loss. And then it's like that reporter that interviewed me when we did the donuts and we did the Tim Hortons, and she was like, tell me, like, off the record, tell me more about your weight loss. And I was like, she's like, do you give them a meal plan? It's always like, do you tell people what to eat? And I'm like, no, they need to make this decision. Why is that so hard for people to understand? Like, they need to make their own decisions. And it was like, well, how do they know if they're doing the healthy decisions? I'm like, how does anyone know that? Like, that is not for me to choose. That is for them to choose. What is healthy for one is different for another person because of values.
Exactly. And we get almost distracted by what optimal health is and means. And again, like what's healthiest is like the number of people in North America, again, that are eating what's healthiest is like 1%, 2%. Like that shouldn't be the goal.
No.
It shouldn't be the goal. And and that's only considering nutrition. That's feeding us as if we're robots. But we're human beings. So we need to, again, get rid of our brain of like, well, what's healthy and what's not and what's optimal. It's like, what works for me?
Okay. So I guess the message is you can lose weight without that feeling, without that diet feeling. So when we say you can lose weight without dieting, there's no actions attached to that. There's no look attached to that, but it's just, you can lose weight without feeling that way.
What things make you feel like you're on a diet? Like what?
Hunger. Hunger and just not having no choices, no flexibility. Like, I want to be in charge. Not being in charge for me is being on a diet. So I think that's why for me, it's just important that you can lose weight without having someone else telling you what to eat. Like, because having someone else telling you what to eat leaves you feeling deprived in some way. And it might not be feeling deprived with hunger. Maybe that their meal plan makes you feel full and whatever. It just, it definitely leaves you feeling like there are things that you cannot do for most people. Literally 99% of people. That's why they don't work.
Absolutely. I think for me, it's like, you know, I could eat, if someone said you have to eat all plant-based, I think I could actually do that without feeling super on a diet.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
For me, it would be like, you have to count things.
Okay.
There's certain things on the cannot eat list.
Yeah.
You need to give up alcohol.
Yeah.
That would really, those things, or maybe
Yeah.
even do a certain exercise program.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Like hard rules.
Basically
like
just telling me what to do.
Pretty much.
Just you telling me what to do makes me feel like I'm on a diet.
It's so crazy how we spent so many years trying to lose weight in the most difficult way humanly possible, instead of just going through the path of least resistance.
I see what you're saying.
Like, it's like we were just fighting and we were ignoring and fighting against all of our values, preferences, resources. And it was just like, what is the optimal way instead of what is the way with the least resistance?
Why do you think we were so blinded?
I mean, everyone,
like, where have we
everyone
lost,
is
like, where have we like lost sight of like,
because
how simple it can be to be in a healthier body or a smaller body, that we don't need to live with obesity or dieting. It's like, it's one or the other.
It's one or the other.
Right now, our culture, our society literally thinks it's either, they think everyone that is not living in a bigger body is just dieting. And it's like, but it's a feeling, but then it's like, how do you get to that point without feeling that way?
We just never were given an option. It was just always
years.
And they're always telling us that their way is the best way, that their way is the fastest way, that their way is the easiest way. That they're selling it to us. They've marketed it. And I truly believe when you are existing in a bigger body and you're feeling trapped in your own skin, that you're almost desperate. You are desperate.
Yeah.
And when you are desperate, you can be taken advantage of a lot more when you're not feeling desperate.
Yeah. You're right.
I mean, the diet industry is to blame. Who's to blame? Good thing we're crushing that.
Yeah. Crushing those myths.
Myth.
Oh my God. I was just talking to people this weekend and I was like,
you were around new people.
I was around new people.
Okay. And how always
they like to talk about business, like how's business.
Okay. And is there people that are asking like, how does it work? Or
no, everyone knows who I am.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a group of people that knew who I was and what I do. And they're like, in their eyes, you know, your weight loss is thriving and whatever. And I'm like, it is, but just so you know, like we're up against a current all the fucking time. And I'm like, it is a lot. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're just always fighting for what we stand for, because what we stand for is literally against what our culture and our society and our generation is used to hearing. So it's just like, just tout apprendre à grand souffle.
The message is different and the service is different too.
So it's a harder sell, I said.
Yeah, it is a harder sell. It is a harder sell.
I'm like, we don't show up and say, you're gonna, we don't make promises. We don't, whatever. And they're like, it's true, right? You guys don't make, no, I'm like, no, we don't make promises. We like literally want to change the way what our culture believes in. That is a hard job. And we're not just like helping people.
It's a big job.
We don't help people lose weight though. When you think about it, that's not just what we do.
No,
we help people change what they believe in. That's hard shit.
And take charge of their own lives and start to look at their life from a lens of like, instead of switch from I'm a victim to there's things I can do. There's things that are out of everyone's control, but there's always things you can do in any situation. And so we just really remind women that they are in charge of their lives.
Yeah. I think what we do is amazing. I find it, and like, obviously we're so passionate about it that like, we're not going anywhere. We're not stopping. It's just, holy mac, like always uphill. Even
me explaining this weekend or this week, being in LA, people will ask me questions and I'm like, well, I do have another job. And they're like, hey, what is it? And I trying to explain it. And the second you say weight loss, blaze.
Yeah.
I mean, then I continue to explain, and some people are like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I totally get that, you know, but then some people, I lost them at weight loss.
Absolutely. And actually I want our next podcast to be about the conversation about weight loss and why there's such a wall and why it's such a hard conversation. Okay. So let's leave that for the next podcast. This was great. We talked about dieting, that it's a feeling. They've gotten enough. This is good. I feel good about this. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We're crushing it. We're getting our 1 million party ready. I've reached out to a few places. I've gotten some quotes. Stay tuned, everyone. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.